Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. And today I have Niamh-Dunne Mason here with me to talk about her journey in veterinary medicine. And yeah, Niamh, would you like to introduce yourself?
So, hi, I'm Niamh. I'm going into my third year at Nottingham Vet School. I started out doing the prelim year, took a bit of an alternative route to veterinary medicine. So yeah, I'm just taking it in my stride and doing what I can.
Great. Thanks so much for spending your time with me today to talk a little bit about your journey. So could you tell us more about the prelim course? So I understand it's a non-A-level route, right?
Yeah, so there's two sort of alternative routes with Nottingham. You've got the Gateway and you've got the prelim course. And so Gateway is when you've done the right A-levels, so biology, chemistry and something else, but you've missed the grades. But then you also have to qualify with other criteria, such as being the first person in your family going to university or being from a deprived area, things like that. And then you've got prelim, which is what I did, which is when you didn't do the right A-levels, but you got the right grades. So you did really well in whatever A-levels or subject you did do. So for me, I did a BTEC in animal management. I did that at Nottingham Trent University. And I got the equivalent of 3 A stars in that. So qualified for prelim. Yeah, so that's how that works.
Oh, and is it very common that are a lot of people in your year who have done that route, or how's it like?
In my year, it was quite split. There was quite a lot of people that did do the right A-levels, but like I say, just got B's and C's rather than A's and B's.
Yeah.
But then a lot of my friends are mature students because I'm 24 now, so I started uni when I was 22. So like my best friend, she's actually a vet nurse, and so now she wants to change that into being a vet surgeon. My other friend did a geography degree, and so nothing sort of very sciencey, and then had a couple of other friends from A-levels, but like I said, did things like English and art instead of doing science. Yeah, but we had other people in the class that had done like IT for all their life and then just suddenly decided, they just wanted to change and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's literally like Nottingham's very good for sort of taking people on that don't have those traditional biology, chemistry A-levels.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Oh, that's so cool. All right. So what were your other university choices then? Did you just apply to Nottingham?
Yeah, so because of my BTEC, I was very limited with where I could apply. Nottingham was actually the only vet school that would take me. There are other vet schools that do preliminary gateway style entry routes, but you also had to have A-levels on top of the thing you already had. And I just didn't have the means to go and study for another year to get another A-level or whatever.
Yeah.
So I applied to Nottingham for vet school. I did apply to Nottingham Trent University for zoo biology. I applied to Lincoln for bioveterinary, and I applied to Bangor University as well for zoology. So they were my backups in case veterinary didn't work. So I probably would have gone into something zoology based if I wasn't doing veterinary medicine.
Yeah, and forgive my ignorance. So when you start the prelim course, it's sort of like 1 or 2 years before the main course, or is it?
Yeah, so it's just 1 year.
Okay.
And it's basically like doing your A-level biology and chemistry in like 9 months, the whole 2 year. Yeah, it's really intense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're basically doing that 2-year A-level in 9 months.
Yeah.
You're also doing GCSE maths on top of that. You're doing an animal care and behaviour module as well on top of that. But they do sort of take content out that isn't relevant. So we don't learn about plants and things that aren't relevant to veterinary. So they do make it so that it's very veterinary focused. So that helps, which is why if you're someone that's come from A-levels but missed the grades, it's quite easy because they've sort of already done it before, if that makes sense. They're just doing it again.
Yeah.
But for someone like, say, someone who's come from like an English language degree and is now thrust into intense A-levels, it can be quite a lot. But yeah, it's literally just a really intense year where they're getting you up to speed to make sure that you're on the same level as the people that got A's in their A-levels and just going straight on to the normal 5-year course.
Okay, so it's like 1 + 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be really good for people, especially with the A-levels issue that they had this year. So
so it can be a lifeline to students that do just miss grades, and it's just really unfortunate, but at least she still gets to go to vet school.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard Nottingham has increased their intake as well.
Yeah, so starting from the April just gone, we have started welcoming 2 intakes a year, one in September, one in April. So it's 150 each intake.
Oh, wow.
So essentially just doubled it from normal. So yeah, the April students have only recently come onto campus because of social distancing rules, getting everything sorted. But yeah, that's what we've started doing. So we've got a dual cohort model now. So it also changed our modules, our exams, things like that. It had quite a big knock-on effect. It wasn't just like, oh, let's just put in another 150. They did have to sort of remodel everything.
Yeah, especially because you might clash. Like your lectures might clash, or like exams might clash. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about that? Is it like positive, negatives, or like could be a
Um,
positive?
Kind of neutral at the minute.
Nice.
I suppose because I haven't been there, you know, our university got shut down in March, so
Yeah.
I wasn't there when they arrived, and obviously I'm not there now, so I haven't really had a chance to experience what it will be like us working at the same time. The timetable was changed so that there isn't any overlap between us.
Yeah.
So like when I start in September, for example, that April cohort, there should only be 50 students left on campus, because we have this new teaching model called a synoptic block, which is basically 6 weeks where the cohort is split into 3 groups of 50.
Okay.
And they rotate, so only 50 students are on campus for 2 weeks, and then they go away, and then 2 come back, and then rotate like that. So yeah, so if it works, then when I go back in September, there'll only be 50 students there from the 150.
I see. Okay.
So it won't be like there's 300 of us all there.
Yeah.
And then it'll be the same in next March. So when we start our synoptic block, there'll only be 50 of us there, but those 150 will come back. So it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
What is a synoptic block? Like, what do you do?
So you basically do, one of our modules is veterinary professional skills.
Okay.
And we do that module essentially quite intensely in the synoptic block. So for those 2 weeks, we'll do lectures, professionalism, and how to talk to clients and what's appropriate and things like that. So we do it a little bit throughout the year, but we do a lot of it in synoptic block. And then the other 4 weeks where we're not on campus learning is basically time for us to do EMS. So the uni recognised that there was not a lot of time in the holidays for students to do EMS and have a social life. So they thought, how can we help? So they've put in sort of timetabled time for us to do EMS to try and help us out so that we can do it in those 4 weeks and then still have our holiday separate.
I see. Oh, that's really kind. Yeah. And do they organize EMS for you, or do you have to apply for it?
No, it's completely us. We do have a placements office. So it's about 4 or 5 people that literally their entire job is to just help. And it's really good. You can go in and there's like computers with a map, and it's got like every single placement that every Nottingham vet student's ever been on. And yeah, you find them yourself. You don't have to go to one that's like someone's already been on before. Like I found a placement recently. I went to an alpaca farm.
I saw it on your Instagram. So cool.
It was really good, and I just found that myself because my equine placement got cancelled because of coronavirus, and I was feeling really down about not having placements. So I just started emailing like any animal things around me, and luckily they were like, yeah, come for 2 weeks, that's fine. Yeah, so that's really good. But yeah, no, we find them ourselves. Yeah, we get a lot of support though.
That's really good. So just a little bit more about application side of things. So how is the process like? Like, do you have to do an extra test, go for interviews, and do you have to have work experience already? What is it like?
So whether you're applying for prelim/gateway or regular 5-year course, it's exactly the same application. It's literally just, UCAS, your personal statement, the normal UCAS application form. And then after that, you get sent sort of a further application from Nottingham Vet School, which is basically like a judgment test. So they'll send you like a test with questions that are kind of like ethical questions.
I see. Fair enough.
And it's kind of like there's no right or wrong answer, but we just want to see how your mind works, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So situational judgment test. That's what it's called. So you do that. And then you also have to supply your references for work experience there. So you do have to have at least 2 weeks work experience. I know they're taking into consideration coronavirus for this year because people's things have been cancelled, but on a normal term, it's at least 2 weeks. And it can be like anything from veterinary work to farm work, just anything you've been able to do, really. And then if you get past that sort of second stage of application, then you will be invited to interview. Interviews are usually after Christmas.
Okay.
And it's half a day of a one-to-one interview, a practical interview, and a group interview. And it sounds very intense. And I remember going and I thought it was going to be very intense, but it wasn't. It was really relaxed because they have Nottingham vet students working it. So you always feel sort of comfortable, and if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, there's no it's almost as if there's no adults around. It's just a lot of students around trying to make you feel welcome and taking you everywhere you need to go. And then I've started working those interviews. So I worked them this year and last year. And the students take you around. You're given a timetable for the day. They take you around, and it's just quite a chilled day, to be honest. That's the kind of vibe we like to create. It's just like, don't stress. Chilled out.
It's kind of hard not to.
It is really hard. But I think when I've taken students to their one-to-ones, it's like once that's over, they're like, oh, at least that bit's over. I think that's the one that people stress about the most.
Do you get interviewed by the lecturer or something?
So they'll literally pair you up with a lecturer, and not all lecturers at our uni are vets, so you could be paired with someone who just does like microbiology, or or like works in the pathology unit or something like that. And then there's usually 2 people there. For my interview, I had the head of the prelim course and an ex-prelim student who was now graduated. So I had an alumni vet there.
Okay.
And like I say, it was very chilled. They did concentrate a lot on my personal statement. So they literally like had it in front of them and were referring to it and being like, oh, you've written this. What do you mean by that? Like, can you explain that more and things like that? So I was very aware that I was like, oh, okay, I need to know what I've written in my personal statement. Even though I'd written it like 6 months ago. That was something that like Nottingham, like they do refer to your personal statement. I know one boy, when I came out of my interview, I met up with him and they literally asked him to recite the first line of his personal statement.
What?
To like make sure
harsh.
he's written it. And like it's written it ages ago. Like, how can you remember that?
I don't remember my first line of my personal statement. Speaking of personal statements, Niamh has an Instagram post about tips on personal statement, right?
I do, yes. Check that out. I'm hoping to start like a mini series just to help vet students along the application process. So keep an eye out for some more tips and tricks along the way.
Very good. Any last advice on application process before we move on to the next section?
My one thing I always say to people is just be honest and don't exaggerate, because they know, like they know if you're exaggerating.
Or like in a personal statement, or like in your interview? What do you mean? Like
like in your personal statement, like if you've written, oh, I've seen this magical neurosurgery, like, fantastical thing, and it's like, oh, but did you? Because then no word of a lie, they will be like, tell me about it, about this thing you saw, and you're just going to be like, So just be honest. Even if the most interesting thing you've ever seen was like a dog that was lame, talk about that, you know what I mean? Because at least it's real, and at least when they ask you about it, you can be like, yeah, oh my god, like this dog was lame and I had all these ethical and moral things going in my head. And then, you know what I mean, it's easier to talk about things you've actually seen than things you've fabricated.
Yeah, and I do find that it's not about what you saw, but what you learn from it, like what you take from it. So I guess a simple procedure, like you said, you could just say, oh, I had so many new insights and stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. It's not a competition of who's seen the best thing before they've got to vet school, you know what I mean?
Okay, so right, now's the next section more about Nottingham University, pretty much. So how are you finding it in general? Like, what year are you in, and what is going on now because of coronavirus? When do you go back to uni? If you are.
I'm going, So because of prelim, I'm technically going into my 3rd year, but I'm going into year 2. So still in my preclinical years. Nottingham Uni is great. I'm from Nottingham, so I am a little bit biased. But yeah, it's great. Sutton Bonington campus where we study, it's in the countryside, obviously, because we have like a farm next door and things like that. So we just can't run those kind of things in a city.
Yeah.
I personally think it's really nice. I am sort of like a countryside person, so I like it a lot. Pre-corona, we had a lot going on. You know, we've got our vet society who run a load of events. We'd usually have vet ball every year. We have summer ball. Yeah, like we have so much going on. So what uni's going to look like now onwards, I'm not too sure, but the April students are having a good time. They're on campus now, and the vet school have set up some ambassadors that are putting on events for them. So they're doing what they can within government guidelines to make sure that they can have a good time. A lot of the things are sort of, you know, socializing with your flats and stuff.
I see. Okay.
I know they're putting on a gig, I think, next week. So there's a group of year 5 students that are in a band, and they're going to come and do a gig and do some karaoke with them. So anything, and obviously that's going to be like outdoors and everything. So anything that can be put on.
Yeah, socially
safe.
safe.
As long as it's safe, they're trying their best to do that. So yeah, I mean, as students, sorry, that light's really bright. God. Completely white one. But from like society's point of view, they're very limited with what they're allowed to do from September onwards. A lot of things at the minute is just, you know, run things virtually, but a lot of people, you know, the pub quiz era has passed, you know what I mean? Like, people are kind of bored of that now.
Virtual pub quiz.
Literally. So I don't know, I think it's going to be hard. I think being a returner, I'll be fine because I've had my freshers, and do you know what I mean, like I've done that, and I've got my friends, things like that. So I think for freshers, oh my god,
no, I'm losing you again. we can pause. We can pause the I'll edit this out, so it's fine. You can just,
I don't know, I'll start again. As a returner, I think I'll be fine. Because I've made my friends, I've had my freshers, like I'm 24 now, I don't need to like go out and get drunk and things like that. That sounds really boring.
No, I'm 25, I get it. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I started uni quite late as well. I started when I was 20.
You look so young.
You look so young too. I was gonna say, oh my god. Okay, give me some tips. Okay. Yeah, you were saying?
Yeah, so I think the freshers will struggle the most, but I am on the students' union this year for my campus, so we are working behind the scenes really, really hard, trying to get things put on for all freshers, not just vet students, for all the other degrees that are on our campus as well, but we're very limited. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Oh, so what is the ratio of like international students to like normal local students like?
Internationals to locals, not a lot for vets. I think in my year there was, out of 150, maybe only less than 10 internationals.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think on the April cohort that's there now, I think there's only 7 internationals. Okay. So not a lot. And I think they're mainly, at the minute, the April students are mainly from European countries.
Wait, so you count European as internationals? Or?
Yeah, we count anyone that's not, even if you're from Ireland, you're an international.
Okay.
Yeah, anyone outside of the UK, international. Internationally speaking, not very diverse.
Yeah, fair enough.
But that's, I think, going to be worse this year because of Corona. You know, a lot of people I've heard are deferring their start till next year, just because, you know, if you're a fresher, you want the best.
Yeah, you want the whole experience. Yeah,
exactly. Like, why wouldn't you? You're paying so much money. Why wouldn't you want that? Yeah. So they're within their rights to do that. So I think this year coming, it will be even lower.
Okay, fair enough. Well, international wise, in Cambridge, there's very few, like 3 to 4 of us out of 60, so it's quite little as well.
Okay, but is that your year size, 60?
Yeah, we have very
that's
small
really small. Oh my god. Wow.
So you kind of know everybody pretty much by the end of 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there are still people in my year that I'm like, I don't know their name. It's really bad.
You have a big year though, so.
We do. Sometimes, like, genuinely, it got to about January, so starting second term, and I was like, someone came to a practical, and I was genuinely like, I've never seen that person before. I was looking at my friends like, who is that?
Are you going to have virtual lectures, or is
Yeah.
everybody meant to go back in September? So everybody's on campus and they just watch the lectures from the flat? How does that work?
So as far as I'm aware, lectures, all our small group teaching is all going to be virtual.
Okay.
We will be having practicals in person,
Yeah.
but they'll just be in very small groups. Yeah, that's how the April students are doing it at the minute. They've been put into bubbles.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, yeah, the vet school asked us to fill out a form to basically put us into bubbles with certain people. So they're going to try and get people that already live together in houses for them to do their practicals together. So they're not mixing with loads of other people. But obviously, I live at home. So I've asked to be in my bubble with my best friend who also lives at home. She doesn't live with other students. So they're trying to get the people that live on their own to be in bubbles. So they're trying to work it out to make sure it's safe and stuff.
Yeah, the best you can do is like you have to just wear a mask and do suture practicals distantly and something like that.
Yeah, literally. Like, I think as long as you're wearing a face covering and you're washing your hands, if someone in your bubble gets coronavirus, you all isolate. Like, what more can you do?
Do
I think
your best. Yeah. Okay. So if you could briefly summarize the whole course, like in terms of, okay, what sort of topics do you learn in first and second year, which is your preclinical year, right? What practical stuff do you do? And then what do you do in clinical year? Sorry to put you on the spot.
That's all right. Okay, so it's because it's obviously changed because of the dual cohort. So in first year, we have two big modules called neuromuscular and circulatory and respiratory. So neuromuscular, literally nerves and muscles, you're learning all that. Circulatory and respiratory is heart, lungs, throat, everything else. We also have in first year our embedded modules, which are modules that run throughout the year. So the veterinary professional skills, which I spoke about earlier, and we also have an animal health and welfare module in first year as well. So first year we just have one set of exams in the summer. We also have coursework. We have to write like reflective pieces of work based about things like communication and academic action plan and things like that. And then we also have a thing called DOPS. You're examined handling the three main species of animals, so horses, farm animal where you'll either get cows or sheep, and then small animal where you could be given a dog or you could be given a rat or anything like that. And you're basically examined on handling it safely, you know, getting it out of its cage, or, you know, getting a cow into a crush and things like that. It's literally just to make sure that you're safe around the animals, you know how to handle them properly. And then in second year you do endocrine and integument, GI, so gastrointestinal system, urogenital system. And then we also do VPS, veterinary professional skills, again. So we do that twice. And then hopefully by the end of year two, you've covered all the major body systems. And then same again, coursework, exams in summer. But then we also have our OSPEs at the end of year two, which are non-clinical skills. So that's your preclinical years done. And then obviously you also have your 12 weeks preclinical EMS in those 2 years. And then moving on to year three, you literally restart your body systems again. Restart your neuromuscular, your circulatory and respiratory, but you're doing it in a clinical view. Rather than learning how it works and what's normal, you're learning what's abnormal, how to fix it. And then same for year four, repeat the modules again. And then year five, rotations. We do have project in year three as well. You start your project in year two. So hopefully this year I'll get to pick what topic I want to do, which is quite exciting, I think. So that's pretty much it.
That's good. Yeah, no, that's good. It's so weird. We have our project in fifth and sixth year, so it's quite late. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I suppose because we get 2 degrees, so we graduate at the end of year three.
Yeah, we do that too. Oh, I didn't know Nottingham did that as well.
Yeah.
We graduated at third year.
Yeah, we graduate after third year. So that's why I always thought the project was in year three, because then you get your honours.
Oh, ours is slightly different. So you do like a different degree in third year, get that degree, and then in fifth year you do another vet project.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's quite harsh.
It's fun. Academic rigor, eh? Okay, yeah. So back to Notts. So what is living in Nottingham like? I guess your experience might be slightly different because you are living at home, but
yeah. So in my prelim year, I lived at home. I just got my dad to drop me off at parties, and then I got taxis home. Like I still went out and stuff. Like I still enjoyed myself. And then second year, I moved out into a student house, which was, you know, a good experience. I wanted to do it for the experience. I didn't want to go through the whole 6 years and like have never have lived like a student, if that makes sense. So that was all a learning curve. But then this year I'm back living at home. But yeah, like living in Nottingham is really nice. Like I say, Sutton Bonington can seem quite isolating because of where it is, but the uni's put in a lot of things to not make it isolating. So we've got a hopper bus that runs really regularly, which will take you from the Sutton Bonington campus to the University Park campus, which is the bigger campus in the city. And then from there you can get a tram 5 minutes into the city centre. Like, it's really easy. Not a lot of like nightlifey stuff to do on campus, but like I say, Nottingham is literally 20 minutes away, so it's easy enough to get around. And I like living in Nottingham. There's great restaurants and bars, even things like I say, I'm a countryside person, so the Peak District, you know, it's like half an hour away. We're only an hour and a half from a beach. You know, I think Nottingham is a really good place because we're literally right in the middle, so you're kind of equidistant from anywhere you want to go. So it's really nice. Yeah, I'd recommend it. Even on a day trip, Nottingham's a really good place to come.
Nottingham ambassador here, right here.
Yes.
So how is accommodation organized in your vet school?
So if you get an offer on your results day, you'll then get to apply for accommodation, and then you don't have to live on the campus accommodation if you don't want to. You can choose to live on one of the other campuses if you want to be closer to the city and have more of the city life. You can choose to do that and then just get the hopper bus in every day if you wanted to. Like, some people do that.
Is the hopper bus free? Or?
Yeah, hopper bus is free. Yeah, but obviously most people choose to live on campus because there's buildings literally right outside the vet school. So you just roll out of bed at 5 to 9 and just keep going. Yeah, okay. I never had that luxury, but I'm sure it's great. But yeah, so you book it yourself. There's loads of different options, even just on Sutton Bonington campus, whether you wanted a single or a double, an ensuite. You're guaranteed accommodation in your first year. Okay. So if you're a fresher, you want to live on campus, you don't have to fight for it. You're guaranteed to get accommodation.
What about second year onwards? Like, do you move to a private house or do you have to stay in campus sort of thing?
So most people choose to live in one of the surrounding villages. So you'll get a house with your friends. You can live on campus again if you want to. You usually get a discounted rate if you live on campus again. And there are some people that have done it. They like living close to uni. You know, it's easy. You know, your bills are included, things like that. There's no faffing around. So there are some people that live on campus in their first year, move out, and then come back for third year because it's so much easier to just live on campus.
So do you get catering and stuff, or do you cook in the
so pre-corona it was mandatory to be catered in your first year. But it was part catered, so you just get evening meals Monday to Friday, but obviously breakfast and weekends, like, you had to sort that yourself, but you have a kitchen in your flat, so it's fine. And then if you lived on campus after that, you could choose whether to be part catered or not. You didn't have to be. But then because of coronavirus, the catering has stopped on campus, so everyone is just self-catered.
And how much is the rent range, or like how much did you have to pay?
It does vary. I think on the lower end, you're looking at about £115 a week. That's for something like a single bed with a shared bathroom. But then on the higher end, you could be paying something like £160 a week for like a double ensuite. So it's all depends on what you want and on what you can afford, you know, what your loan will cover, things like that.
Okay. And for the houses, the ones where you just move out after first year, do you do that via a system by the university, or is it liaising with private landlords mostly?
Yeah, completely like yourself.
Okay.
The uni and the students' union is obviously there to help you, and they're happy to look over housing contracts and things like that if you're not sure. But yeah, it is just a case of you going out, looking on Rightmove. We have a Facebook group for house hunting specifically for our campus, and just going out and viewing, and just doing it yourself. It's quite easy though. There are 2 main estate agents in the local village, and they're very, very, helpful and very forthcoming with students, because they know obviously probably 90% of their like customer base is students. So,
and would you say that you would need a car if you're living in Nottingham, like one of the villages? Because I remember I went there for fab. A lot of them had cars, so I was like, oh, okay, is this a necessity, or
obviously for me, yes, because I drive into campus every day. So I need a car. I would definitely say having a car helps. I think in freshers, if you're living on campus, if only at least one person in your flat drives and you're obviously friendly with them, then that's fine, because they'll take you to the shop, you'll go and do a shop together and things like that. It generally just fall on that person that's got the car. But after that, moving out, I think having a car is really, I don't want to say essential because I don't want people to freak out, but like when you get to like your clinical years and stuff and going on placement, having a car is really handy because there's not a lot of things within walking distance or transport distance, if that makes sense. Like, yes, you could get the bus to that placement, but it's going to take you 2 hours, or you could drive there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, you do find a lot of people come here and then are like, oh, okay, I need to learn to drive, or I need to save to buy a car. So yeah, I would say sort of an essential. If you can afford it, get a car.
That's not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world at all. There is public transport, there are other options, there are places you can do placements more locally, but I think to get the best out of your life at Nottingham, then having a car is great.
Okay. And you also mentioned that you had other courses that run on the Sutton Bonington campus as well, right?
So we have the vet school, which takes up quite a large proportion, but then we have biosciences as well. So there are people studying animal science, plant science, nutrition, microbiology. We've got a brewing centre, so people do like brewing, like making beer and stuff. It's called.
All right. Okay.
It's very sciencey. Like, probably have more biology on the campus, but more like physics and chemistry are on other campuses.
Okay.
And everyone integrates really well because in your flat, there's no guarantee you're going to be with just vet students. Quite often, you'll get someone that's a vet student. They're the only vet student in the flat, and all their housemates are from other courses. So it's quite weird because obviously there's 150 new vet students, but that's only one course, whereas there's lots of other courses. Yes, there may only be like 30 people on each one, but that soon adds up. So quite a lot of different students on campus.
That's good. Okay. Oh, one more thing about clubs and societies. You've mentioned a bit about VetSoc. You guys what are the sports facilities like? And do you have a gym?
So we have a sports centre which belongs to the university, and it's just over the road from the campus. It's quite small, but we have things like there is a gym with equipment, there's dance studios, a basketball court, there is outdoor astroturf, so people play football and rugby and hockey and things like that. As long as you aren't wanting to do like varsity sport, then absolutely fine. But if you do want to like compete in your sport while you're at university, again, very easy to get the hopper bus to University Park where they train, because all the competing varsity sports will train on University Park. But if you want to do that, there was a girl in prelim who played lacrosse and she did that on University Park. Absolutely fine, no issue. There were lots of sports to do on campus. I'd probably say non-sport societies outweigh sports societies.
Okay.
Like, I'm part of the Amateur Dramatic Society. So yeah, there's a lot of non-sport societies, but there are plenty of sports so you can get your teeth into if you want to.
Okay, cool. At least there's something for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And I keep saying like pre-corona, but like pre-corona, there was loads of opportunities to try things. The university runs try it sessions, but they'll do it in September and October, but then they'll also do it again in like January and February, so that if you were like a bit shy when you first started and you didn't want to approach boxing, to do some boxing, but now you're like, I really want to do it, and they'll run it again for you and stuff. So there's loads of opportunities to always try things either for free or for a small price. So I think the uni is very for engagement, and even if it's not sport related, just for getting you doing other things than your course, especially veterinary, because it's so intense. They want you to have other things to focus on to take your mind away from it.
Definitely. You need a balance. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think this is the last section of the interview, which is basically about you, Niamh. So what are your career aspirations and interests, and what about your social media platform? You want to talk about it? I heard you have a giveaway coming up, so you can talk about that too.
Currently, my goal is to be a zoo vet. I really, really want to go into zoo medicine and surgery. I feel like that's a lot of people's goal. A lot of people want to go into exotics and zoo and stuff, which is absolutely fine. So I'm aware that it's going to be very competitive, and it's not going to happen like that. I think my plan at the minute is to graduate, go into mixed practice, because I spoke to a zoo vet who said that having the skills of handling a large animal like a cow and a small animal like a rat is very transferable to zoo when you're handling absolutely anything. So when I graduate, I'm hopefully going to mixed practice, and then I'll work on my zoo medicine certificate. certificate.
Mhm.
So I don't expect to be in a zoo for like at least another 5 to 10 years after I graduate, but that is what I'd like to do. Obviously, I'm very open to other things. Like, I never thought I'd like farm work, but it wasn't until I went lambing last year that I was like, actually, I really enjoyed this. I didn't expect to enjoy it at all. I thought it was going to be grueling and like I'd hate it, but I loved it. And then I went lambing again this year and I loved it even more. So the more I do different things, I'm like, actually, I can see myself being a farm vet, you know. So it wouldn't surprise me if my, you know, goals changed slightly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is my goals at the minute. I would love to go into like a bit of conservation medicine as well, not permanently, just for like a year or so, go to somewhere like South Africa and do on a safari or something, and do something like that. I think that would be really interesting. But yeah, I'm very open. I like my exotics. That's what I know for sure.
Yeah.
Is that from day one it was exotics. You know, I like my reptiles and things like that. Yes, I love dogs and cats, but I want to be that person in practice who's like, oh, the chinchilla's come in, give it to Niamh.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I will be like, yes, give me the chinchilla.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's what I know for sure, is that exotics are definitely my thing.
Okay, cool. Now you're about your social media.
Yeah, so obviously I run my Instagram account, Niamh_the vet student. I started it in prelim just because I wanted to document vet school and stuff and try and help people. I recently hit 1,000 followers.
Yay!
So I will be launching my 1,000 follower giveaway soon. It has been a bit delayed, I'm sorry, because of Corona and everything, but it will be launching soon. So check out Niamh_the vet student soon for how to enter.
Cool. Right. I think that was pretty much it. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and really nice to meet you as well. Okay.
Yes, you
I'm
too.
gonna stop recording.
When you were younger, you didn't see things quite the same as you do now. But now you're older, you find that sometimes you wish you had stayed a clown. Never